Take some questions from you. I'd like to start off with a few questions for Adam. So this year, our theme for this series is Hong Kong spirit. So what are some of the ways that your film shows Hong Kong spirit?
Well, actually, I didn't. The word Hong Kong spirit didn't come into my mind when I conceived the story. So I would say because I was born in Hong Kong, and all the nutritions in my blood is from Hong Kong, and I love Hong Kong. So Hong Kong elements just come naturally when I make a movie. And because this movie is not something it's not very commercially oriented. I had the idea of making this dance film like a few years ago, and I choose this topic not because it is commercial, but because my destiny arranged me to encounter a group of dancers in Hong Kong. And so I would say the initiative of this movie is rather pure. I just make something that I think is meaningful. So in this way, I think those Hong Kong elements just naturally becomes the movie. Yeah,
that's great. And so you mentioned that you met these dancers somewhere.
Right.
Can you talk about how you met them, how you worked with these talented dancers and actors?
Sure. Okay, it was in the middle of 2008, I remember, when I first had the idea of making this movie. At that time, me and my partner were rather poor, so we had a company, but we didn't have an office. We didn't have a physical office. So, but we always worked together for freelance job, and we always met together and we conceived ideas for projects, or sometimes we just chat about movie. And so we are lacking venues for our meeting because we didn't have an office. So we went to the Cha Chan Tang, Chinese restaurant, and sometimes we just sit on the street, stay overnight, in the park. And later on, we find a rather good place, which is a university called the Polytechnic University of Hong Kong. So because I taught there in the daytime, and so at night we discovered that I can just enter the university, just find a place and sit down, and talk. So whenever security, people came to, ask for like a student ID card, I just told them I'm a teacher here. And so yeah, they will become very polite and okay, oh no problem, just stay and talk. Yeah, how long you want. So and actually it is at there. I found a group of dancers dancing in front of the 7-Eleven convenience store, which was located in the campus. Yeah. So I was a bit curious why there are a group of dancers dancing in front of the convenience store, outside the convenience store there. I mean, it might be very natural that you find dancers in the campus because they're a dance society in the school, right? But according to my observation, I think those people are not just university students from the outlook. Yeah, they are very obviously from different streets. So I start to become interested about the story, and so I asked, and I was told that actually there's an interesting story behind. It was the dance society in the school. They were some years ago they were banned to to borrow the room, the mirror room in the school to practice the dance. Because of some incident, they offend some rules or something like that. So they were not allowed to borrow the official room to dance. So they just use the street dance spirit and just find a place which is the outside area of the convenience store. Might be because it's easy for them to buy water, right? Because they rehearse, they have to practice, and also I think it's because there's some refractive mirror, refractive walls outside the convenience store, so they can check themselves, to the dances. Mirror is very important. So they just dance there, and gradually that place becomes a popular place among dancers in the university. And later on, even the dancers on the street came there. They like to gather there to dance. And I knew that even international dancers from all over the world, when they arrive Hong Kong, they would go there, to visit the place. So that place become popular. Yeah, just because of at first because of some student, they were forbidden, and then they found that place to dance. So I think this story is very interesting. It reflects some Hong Kong spirit to me. Yeah, it's the life of Hong Kong, and so I consider this story. Yeah.
Great. Maybe we can take some questions from the guests here.
Maybe ask the first one.
Sure.
Can I ask some in Chinese too?
Sure.
我覺得咧呢套戲我琴晚睇咗啦，睇晒係一個感受拼盤。OK，no criticism， 有 friendship， 有 love， 有 dance， 有 tai chi。OK，but I see it's commercial. It's a commercial film, not an art. All right, so that's to me is no criticism, also no surprise. So what will be your breakthrough for next one? 即係話咗講咧，就話即係覺得好平穩，冇 complain， 但係太平穩啦，太即係咩 element 都有。咁我覺得it's not， 我覺得 film 應該係一個 art。You need to have some creativity and also some breakthrough. But I don't see anything there.
I think there are many angles to see a film, really. Like, if you ask filmmakers in Hong Kong, yeah, I think they were really surprised that this film was made, from the industry angle, right? From the creative side. I know what you mean, because I don't have any really anti-establishment thing, right, in a movie. But in terms of a genre, I think that is why my film is so difficult to get financed for so many years. So on this aspect, I think many Hong Kong filmmakers or business people, they were really shocked that a group of Hong Kong people using a group of we call it they are not star, right, non-star, to make a movie like that. In this aspect, I think I cannot deny there's such a big fruit here, and it becomes so commercial too. So I was told that regarding a movie that doesn't use stars, it might be the ever best-selling movie in Hong Kong. Maybe one close to this one was called, I don't know the English title, called Lan Mui Zai. It's a movie about some wasted teenage girls, which was back more than 20 years ago, which was also a film without using star, but become popular. And maybe this is the second one. So on this aspect, I cannot deny that, however humble I was, I cannot deny that it is such a big breakthrough. But I also understand what you say, creative-wise, it seems so secure because it's very harmonious, right? Very positive. But I always think film is a really complicated product. It's an art. It's also a commercial product. It's also a product. It's also a cultural product. I would rather do things step by step. Particularly in this in the situation of Hong Kong, it's really difficult to have a movie, get started to make. So, because this movie is very welcome in Hong Kong, and to Hong Kong people, it is a breakthrough that it is so positive. You see what I mean? Because to me, because I'm in the art circle and I live in Hong Kong, seeing complaint, seeing blood, seeing violence in art circle is nothing surprise to me. And maybe I'm such a I'm not a really rebellious person. I have something very rebellious inside of me, but not in a very explicit way, I would say. Yeah, this comes truly from my heart. And also considering the conditions in Hong Kong, in the film industry, the condition that it's so difficult to make a movie, I would say this is the most I can do. Yeah, and I think I'm proud that I made this movie in this way. Yeah, but of course, I won't be satisfied. Yeah, I will search for a breakthrough. And because this movie was welcome in Hong Kong, we are planning to make a sequel, which is The Way We Dance 3. Not The Way We Dance 2, but 3. Yeah, there would be a reason which is rather difficult for me to explain here, but it might somehow address to what you are asking, you know. Yeah, so I will show the other side of the moon, you know, in The Way We Dance 3. So please look forward to it.
Thank you.
I just wonder how long it take you to make this movie.
It took 23 days, very short, but
Very
it
short.
took us 4 years to get financed.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
So
Okay, thank you.
the most difficult for you to making this movie is about the financial or
Right.
find the artist, you know, to perform.
No, I think the most difficult part of this movie is not the production part, but the finding investment part, and after this movie was made. So first, because you know this is not considered a really commercial topic, so very difficult to find finance. At first, I thought that I was a bit smart that I found dance as a topic. I thought that I found a topic which I don't need to use star, but the genre itself could be popular. The reason behind my thought was because, you know, if you consider like many popular dance movies like Step Up, you know, Street Dance, they're from Hollywood and England. They didn't use star too, but you know they seems to have a guarantee of box office. So I thought, oh, this time if I make a movie like this in Hong Kong, it might have the same, you know, same story too. But it turns out to be not true. People, you know, some investor that I approached, they would challenge like they're, you know, American, they're Western people, so they have a strong hip hop background. You Chinese people, how can you find such good dancers for this movie? Yeah, and there's no successful, you know, case before, so they totally doesn't understand why I want to make a dance movie, and they don't trust that all this can be successful. It would be a successful project. So it's very hard for us to finally get the investment by the investor now, which is the Golden Scene Company, which I have to thank them again and again for such a bold attempt and trust on us. Yeah. So this is a difficult part. And the other difficult part was after this movie was made and first premiered last year in 31st March in the Hong Kong International Film Festival. It was very welcome. Yeah, so we knew that our movie has a hope to be welcomed in Hong Kong. But since that was just a premiere for film festival, and later on we have some more preview screening, but those people who came and who like it are mostly, you know, some film fans or, you know, some audience that has a, you know, high cultural background. We think that the film has potential to reach more audience, would be welcome. But since the, the inborn nature of this movie is we don't have strong commercial element, we don't have star, it's not easy to tell people what film it is. If we tell them, you know, just it's a dance movie, they might think of High School Musical or some really cliche, you know, new dance movie, which I believe is not the case, you know, in my film. So it's really difficult to make people understand this movie before they see the movie. Just like one of the film critics, she quoted, like, before you see this movie, you can hardly imagine how good this movie is. It is from one of the film critics in Hong Kong. So we feel this is the very difficult part, which is the promotion period, I want to say. Yeah. So it is that we believe we make a good movie, but very difficult to do the promotion. So we really try all means, particularly in the case that we don't have so much promotional budget. So we are really for the ways that we don't need to spend so much money, we try them all, like putting poster on the street, and putting many interesting clips. Like because we have whole bunch of talents in our movie, they're really great in different kinds of things like dance, like doing beatbox. It can arouse people's interest. So we post them on YouTube, by this really down to earth way, and make people, arouse people's attention. And so I would say this is a really, really difficult and really, I was trembling, during this whole process.
This is Kyle from Fairchild Television News Department.
I think we're going to have actually an opportunity to have people interview Adam after this.
No, I'm quick. This is for a news program today.
Okay.
So the film is about chasing the dreams.
Yeah.
So in the current political and economic situation of Hong Kong, could you please elaborate a little bit about their philosophy of chasing dreams in the movie?
You prefer me to answer in Chinese or English?
Yeah. If you can speak Chinese, we appreciate that. Cantonese.
Oh, okay. 其實好多人都會講呢套戲係一套追夢電影，但係我喺拍呢套戲嘅時候，我從來冇諗過夢想或者追夢呢個字眼，正如我冇諗過香港精神呢個字眼。喺劇本入邊，你幾乎聽唔到夢想呢兩個字，喺套戲入邊提過。到最後，而家你睇套戲，夢想出現過一次咁大把，但係其實佢都唔係喺個原本嘅劇本入邊寫咗夢想。只不過係我哋到後來配一啲旁白嘅時候，監製提議有一個位可以講得清楚啲啦，咁就講夢想呢個字。我個人我唔中意夢想呢兩個字，甚至當套戲啱啱推出嘅時候，我叫啲公司嘅同事千祈唔好提什麼夢想啊、熱血啊呢啲，我覺得係好老生常、好老土、好 cliché 嘅字眼，因為我覺得夢想呢個字已經被人用到太過廉價啦，係啦，即係你上網上得快都話你係追逐夢想嘅，咁所以我冇諗過呢套戲，我真係冇諗過，即係我唔知可能大家可能好難相信呢套擺到明就係講夢想，但係我真係從來冇諗過夢想呢個字。我只係覺得一班人做自己喜歡做嘅嘢，一班人做自己相信做嘅嘢。咁但係到當呢套戲出咗嚟嘅時候，原來到我要避夢想呢啲字都避唔到，因為個個都會講係夢想，而到最後我決定唔去放開，而唔去再去避，因為我最初唔想用夢想呢個字，就我覺得夢想呢兩個字非常之廉價。正如有啲即係頭先都有位傳媒朋友可能會覺得呢啲係一啲好穩陣、好 positive、好美好嘅一啲 terms 嚇，但係呢個唔係我嘅動機，我唔係要拍一套戲嚟到去 please 人哋。可能如果你哋覺得係，只不過係我嘅性情本身係咁樣嚇，咁所以但到最後成個都話係追夢想，而我最初唔想用呢個字眼係因為我覺得佢可能好老生常談，但係問題我見到好多人當佢哋提呢兩個字眼嘅時候，佢哋係嚟得好紮實，因為佢哋譬如話好多人會睇完呢套戲，佢哋同我講。佢哋真係做咗好多嘢出嚟，譬如有人睇呢套戲，佢走去拍咗一個 MV，叫做《追夢號》。佢話因為睇咗呢套戲，佢受到觸動，所以佢同佢兩個同事拍咗關於佢哋各個人嘅追求目標，將佢哋嘅目標拍成一個 MV， 自己唱歌、自己編曲、自己去拍嚇。有啲人同我講話譬如佢會做翻一樣，佢放低咗好耐，幾乎想放棄嗰件事，因為睇到戲佢受到鼓勵，所以拎翻出嚟做嚇。 有啲人就問我哋攞一個夢想紙條，因為我哋呢套戲其實係一個宣傳品，就係、一條叫做 How far are you willing to go for？ 為了 brand 你可以去到幾盡嘅紙條，等人哋各自填你自己想做嘅嘢入去。咁有啲人就好踴躍去攞呢條紙條就貼喺自己 locker 啊嚇。有觀眾喺我哋借票嘅時候走嚟同我哋講話，佢嘅夢想係開麵包鋪嚇。佢睇完套戲之後，佢一定會再加把勁去追尋佢呢個開麵包鋪嘅夢想嚇。有人即係睇完套戲之後，第二日就喺 Facebook 度出櫃嚇，同志嚟嘅佢係一個。咁所以我覺得原來呢套戲真係令到好似還以夢想呢兩個字一個證明咁樣樣，令到我唔再去抗拒呢個字眼咯嚇。咁所以呢個就係我對夢想嘅 philosophy。我覺得夢想就係要唔好講，係啦，就要做，係啦。而呢句説話其實原來都唔淨止係我講嘅，因為呢套戲即係講夢想啦。咁啊，令到我對於夢想呢個字好敏感啦。咁有陣時我喺網上面會更加留意一啲人佢點樣睇夢想咧？譬如一位曾經同侯孝賢合作過嘅導演，佢係好似男朋友女朋友嗰位導演叫做咩名？即係佢好似係同侯孝賢合作過。佢當佢 quote 從侯孝賢身上學到啲咩嘅時候，佢就係講侯孝賢從來唔會講夢想呢個字，因為只係覺得係要做嘅嚇。呢啲即係對於唔係創作人嚟講，覺得我哋做嘅嘢係好風花雪月或者好夢幻，但其實我哋作為一個創作人，呢啲其實係一個好實在嘅嘢嚇。咁另外一個人就係宮崎駿先生。其中一個我拍完呢套戲之後，因為呢戲多咗人識而俾接到嘅工作，其中一個我最珍惜嘅一個工作就係我做咗宮崎駿嘅 supposedly 嘅封筆告別作品，就係、是《風起了》嘅香港版、廣東版嘅粵語配音嚇。咁我亦因為呢個工作，我有機會去到日本東京去探宮崎駿先生。咁我就睇過佢嘅一啲説話嚇，佢就講過，佢曾經同啲傳媒朋友講過，拜託你哋千祈唔好再用夢想或者浪漫呢啲字眼去形容佢嘅電影嚇。咁我當時我見到宮崎駿嘅時候，我就問佢點解，因為其實我都有咁嘅諗法。咁佢就講一句説話，就係話夢想咧，因為夢想呢個字咧係好空中樓閣，係啦，好似喺個路度好虛無縹緲。